So for this video, I really wanted to focus on why I have been increasingly shifting my gaming focus towards Eastern developed games, specifically JRPGs. I'm sure you know why, and it is mainly because Western RPGs have become woke and intolerable. Not all of them. There is some that I'm looking forward to, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, even though I thought the first one was really hard. I appreciate it for what it is. I'm 35 years old. I'm a dad, and I do not need to be lectured on life. I don't need real-world issues invading my games, and if they do, I just won't buy those games. And we've all watched game after game flop because clearly I am not the only one who feels this way. Now, even though I believe that is the biggest reason why I've drifted from Western to Eastern games, it's definitely not the only reason. With that said, let's get into it. So, role-playing games have long been a cornerstone of the gaming industry, offering players immersive worlds, deep character customization, and intricate storytelling. For decades, Western RPGs dominated the genre with classics like Baldur's Gate, Elder Scrolls, and Mass Effect. However, a noticeable decline in the quality and appeal of Western RPGs has emerged, coinciding with a meteoric rise in popularity and influence of Eastern RPGs, developed by studios in Japan, China, and South Korea. And I'm not talking about just Eastern games, but Eastern media in general has exploded. I mean, when I was a kid and I told people that I liked Dragon Ball Z, I would just get called a dork and made fun of.
You dork. Go back to the chess club. Who's laughing now?
Now everyone and their moms watches anime, it seems like, which still blows my mind. One polarizing factor often cited in this shift is the incorporation of overt, progressive, and woke ideology into Western RPGs, which some, and by some I mean a fuck ton of people, argue detracts from their storytelling and gameplay focus, which in my opinion, it does. Western RPGs, once celebrated for their depth and freedom, have faced growing criticism in recent years for several, I would say, interconnected reasons.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Many Western RPG devs have been prioritizing social messaging over coherent storytelling. While there isn't anything inherently wrong with themes of diversity, inclusion, and that kind of stuff, their heavy-handed integration has often felt forced and detracted from immersion. And it's not organic. Games like Assassin's Creed Shadows and Dragon Age Veilguard have been criticized for presenting characters and narratives that seem designed to meet quotas rather than enrich the story. This approach alienates players who value subtle, organic storytelling over didacticism. And I'll put up the definition there. We don't want to be lectured to. It's that simple. To appeal to a broader audience, many Western RPGs have streamlined traditional RPG mechanics, sacrificing complexity and depth. Systems like branching skill trees, meaningful choices, and impactful consequences have been watered down.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
For example, The Outer Worlds was praised for its humor, but criticized for its lack of depth compared to classics it sought to emulate, such as All Out New Vegas. By the way, this isn't exclusively a Western thing. Some Eastern games have been dumbed down, in my opinion, Final Fantasy being one, but on the whole, I do think it's a lot more prevalent in the Western world. Recent Western RPG releases have often suffered from technical issues and lackluster polish. Cyberpunk 2077, despite its very ambitious vision, was marred by a disastrous launch, which we all know and is very famous, plagued with bugs and incomplete features. These missteps erode trust in Western devs and drives players towards alternatives. I could make a whole video on fucked up game launches, so Cyberpunk will just have to be the poster boy in this one. Also, Western studios have become very reliant on sequels and franchises, often at the expense of innovation. Games like Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and Mass Effect 3 set very high standards, but their successors have struggled to evolve meaningfully, leading to player dissatisfaction and franchise fatigue.
Why are you the way that you are?
Even a game that was quote-unquote original like Starfield was a huge disappointment to me. And trust me, I wanted to love Starfield. I really, really did. I have like over 100 hours in the game, and that 100 hours, it was bland, boring, and tedious. I did not like the game at all. And considering Elder Scrolls is my favorite franchise personally, I'm praying that Elder Scrolls 6 will be good, but I just don't know anymore. You know, I hope whatever they're doing over at Bethesda and Microsoft, I don't know, man. I hope they can turn it around. I don't have a lot of high hopes for Elder Scrolls 6. I'll just say that. Conversely, Eastern RPGs have experienced a resurgence, appealing to both their traditional audience and a growing global fan base. This kind of ties into the anime thing. It's just Eastern media in general is exploding. And there is a reason for that. One of the reasons is a big focus on timeless themes and universal appeal. So this is a big one, and I don't think people really talk about it or even realize it that much, but Eastern RPGs often emphasize themes like friendship, sacrifice, and perseverance, resonating deeply with players across cultures. You know, anybody can get behind these. Games like Persona 5 and Final Fantasy XIV blend intricate storytelling with emotional depth, allowing players to connect with their characters and narratives on a personal level. Having a game centered around these themes may sound run-of-the-mill on the surface, but there is a reason the hero's journey has been told in so many forms throughout history. There's something about these themes that just connects to people on a deep spiritual level. And sure, there's nothing wrong with mindless Call of Duty fun. Even I play Overwatch all the time to the detriment of my mental health. It's still better than Apex Legends though, which I have thousands upon thousands of hours with. But there is something very nourishing about completing a JRPG, in my opinion. Also, Eastern devs prioritize cohesive world building and distinctive art styles. Now, I'm not saying they exclusively prioritize these things. Obviously, Western devs put a lot of focus into world building and their own art styles, but I feel like they have been deprioritized lately. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild set a benchmark for open world design with its blend of freedom and discovery, while Nier Automata combined philosophical storytelling with innovative gameplay. These games capture the imagination without sacrificing player agency. Western RPGs have, they've just become bloated and obtuse. I think Breath of the Wild is a perfect example of having tons of content without being bloated. While Eastern RPGs often do explore socio-political themes, they typically do so subtly and, most importantly, within the context of their own worlds. This allows players to engage with these ideas organically, rather than feeling as though they are being lectured. Games like Fire Emblem Three Houses tackle themes of war, class, and morality without imposing a specific agenda on players. I was genuinely, and I mean genuinely, excited for Avowed until I saw the pronoun crap and how the artist basically hates white people, and the game just, nothing feels organic about it. You know, I'm not stupid. I can see clearly what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish, and I don't want these franchises to fail. I would actually like them to succeed, because that's just more great games for me to play, but the gaming market's saturated anyway. I'll find something else. But I find it very hard and basically impossible to be absorbed into a world to suspend my disbelief when a character has to do 10 push-ups because they misgendered another character.
Right.
I mean, how fucking stupid is that? And I don't support those games. If you think it looks good, then that's great. But it's clearly not for me. And to be fair and transparent, I actually think the gameplay for Avowed looks pretty good from the previews that I've watched, but you know, like, I'm a grown man. I don't need to be lectured in my games. So yeah, and we're moving on. There are a lot of cultural and market differences between East and West. The cultural context of game development plays a significant role in this divergence. Western devs are under pressure to meet contemporary social expectations, especially in regions where progressive values are prominent in public discourse. This can lead to narratives and characters that feel inauthentic or overly tailored to appease a very vocal but tiny subset of the audience. And I mean tiny subset.
We do not care.
How much did Dustborn sell? Like 1,000 copies. Concord, like 600 people were playing on Steam, something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know who these games are being made for. I have no idea. It ain't me though, apparently. In contrast, Eastern devs are less constrained by these pressures, allowing them to focus more on storytelling and gameplay. Their approach appeals to players who seek escapism and universal themes rather than commentary on contemporary issues. So of course these devs have a right to put out whatever they want in their game, and just like them, I have a right to not buy it. And you have a right to buy it. But if the game flops, then don't get mad at me, okay? And don't tell me it doesn't exist, this social agenda that you're pushing, or that it's in my head when it's clear as day what you're doing. Don't piss on me and then tell me it's rain, because I'm not that stupid. Eastern RPGs are, well, they're not without their challenges either. There is an over-reliance on gacha mechanics, grind-heavy gameplay, and occasionally very convoluted narratives that can alienate some players. That's why I don't play the Kingdom Hearts spin-offs, because I got confused after a while. However, their ability to innovate and adapt continues to outpace many Western RPGs. For Western devs, the decline is not irreversible. By focusing on player-driven narratives, meaningful choice, and avoiding heavy-handed messaging, Western RPGs can regain their former glory. Games like Divinity Original Sin 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 demonstrate that there is still a demand for traditional Western RPGs done right. The decline of Western RPGs and the rise of Eastern RPGs reflect a broader shift in player expectations and industry dynamics. While the insertion of over-ideological messaging has alienated many audiences from Western RPGs, Eastern RPGs have thrived by delivering universal themes, innovative mechanics, and immersive worlds. As the global gaming community continues to evolve, the future of RPGs will likely depend on the ability of developers to balance creativity, cultural resonance, and player satisfaction. But most importantly, just make a good game. Alright, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment and let me know if you feel the same way I do, or do you feel differently. I'm sure I'll hear both sides, which is always cool with me. Anyways, take care and God bless.